Hi, this is Lee, and I know there's a ton of folks out there having trouble with carpal tunnel syndrome. I have it myself. I got it in the 90s, working at hotels and doing tons of check-ins during the boom here in Branson. And at the time, I didn't realize anything was really going on. I just thought it was something that would pass. But at night, doing so many check-ins, sometimes 100 check-ins a night, shared with someone else who was working with me as well, my hands would burn a little bit because my computer was not set to the right level. And since then, they've learned that where you set your levels with your computer and where you set your levels, your wrist, how it rotates, the whole shebang is a big contributor to repetitive motion issues with your hands. And I have got a couple of things in this video that I think will give people some relief. It's some things that I use, about 3 or 4 things, and then we're going to keep it short. I know people are busy, and like this, comment, question. I'm here for you. If you've got a remedy, post it on this page, because I know there's a lot of folks out there needing some relief. So let's exchange ideas here. And it helps if you like my page, because it'll keep me running and I can continue putting videos out there like this. But the first thing I would recommend that, last week I had a bout where my hands were just on fire every day. And I use something called Glucosamine, chondroitin. And I'm not, in any way, I don't get paid by this company to advertise this. This has MSM in it, and I'm a big guy on MSM. I think MSM, it's a sulfur-based product. It makes your, after a few days, you're going to feel some difference. I've talked to some chiropractors and been treated for it by some chiropractors, and they tell me it can either come from the elbow or the shoulder, and they always give you stretches. Another thing, I've heard a link to a B vitamin out there, where if you're not getting enough of this particular B vitamin, as I've said in other videos, I'm a vegetarian. So here's something I take. I just take this every day. It's got like 250% of the total B6 and folic acid that you're supposed to take every day. Give this a shot. What do you got to lose? Except some pain. It's in that small area of the wrist. Right here is where the pain originates, but it can hurt back here, and you might want to be checked out by a doctor to make sure it's not arthritis. That runs in my family as well, but based on the repetitive issues I have had where my wrists were just hot, you can take a little bit of ice at night, put it underneath the wrist, kind of cool it off a little bit, and it goes from hand to hand sometimes. It's not always equal in both hands. Sometimes it's just one hand. It might be the hand you write with or the hand that you move your mouse with the most. So those are just a couple of things. There's some stretches you can do. YouTube has a tremendous amount of help and is a humongous resource for people with carpal tunnel. I've learned some stretches as well, and one thing I suggest too is learning a little bit of yoga. If your neck hurts or something like that, a lot of times that seems to kind of tie in with what's going on with the hands. If you'll go do some yoga stretches, just a supine stretch where you just let your head and your neck just lay loose as you touch the floor, and you kind of open things up a bit. A lot of times the whole body is connected. That'll release things. I do a ton of yoga. I'm going to do a workout on here just to kind of get the body straight and just work to harmonize your body, because if your body is moving correctly and is in harmony, what have you got to lose? So there's a couple of things there: yoga workout, MSM, glucosamine, chondroitin, and a B vitamin every day. I've heard those 3 things tremendously help. And there's also a brace, and you can get these online, very economical. The thumb always folds through this particular type of brace, and if you find your hand hurting, put this thing on, wear it for a little while. Don't get too used to it, because you want to kind of mix it up and keep your hand guessing. Keep your body harmonized, but let your hand know that if you're in pain, you're going to be doing things to correct it. And last but not least, a little bit of massage. Take the fingers and put a little heat in there and rub those fingers and those joints and get in there. And if you find anything that feels a little tough in there, get in there with your fingers and do a little self-massage. I like chiropractors, but sometimes they seem a little momentary. I would probably go to a masseuse. Tell them, your elbow hurts, your shoulder hurts, you've got problems with your hands, and a lot of times they can find treatments too that will help you feel better, because this is something I've struggled with for about 15 years, and the surgery would not be an option. It's not something I think is as viable as everyone asks. The first thing a doctor says is they want to cut into you. So anyway, do a little yoga workout, take some MSM, glucosamine, chondroitin, B vitamins is another thing to look into, and wear a brace sometimes if you have to, and self-massage. Those are 5 things to look into and get started with, and see what your results are, and keep changing. If you don't find what's working for you, continue to move forward until you do. Hope everybody's doing well, and hope these things help. Like my video, leave me a comment. Let's communicate, and if you've got any ideas, please post them here, and hope you guys are doing well.